Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. I'm Rob.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Andi.
And this is
Everybody in the Conference Room.
You seemed like you
I
weren't
know,
sure.
I wasn't sure.
I was going to
who
try
he
something
is.
funny, and then I thought,
He's like, oh, wait, I'm not funny.
It's like, I was going to try something comedic, and then I just said, I'm going to say my name.
Hey, I'm Adam.
Ooh.
Nice to meet me.
Should we? Okay, think of something really funny and then let's do it again. Go.
Oh, geez.
What?
Okay, here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. I'm Rob.
Hey.
Yeah, that was
And I'm Andi.
and we're moving
And
on.
this is...
Oh my gosh. That was totally worth it. Totally worth it. Hey, welcome to episode 15, everybody. Thanks for joining us. As always, we just want to say thank you so much for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Leave us a review on iTunes. It really helps out the show. If you leave us a 5-star, we will read it live on the air. We will do one of those in just a minute. Make sure you tell a friend about the show. It's a great, tangible way to help out. And check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/anofficepod. $3 a month gets you access to the after party at Poor Richard's.
What? Only $3?
I know. Tonight during the episode, we get a glimpse at Michael's improv class. We've never done improv, but we do it tonight. No, I'm just kidding. That
we should have done that.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Maybe next week.
Yeah.
But what we have done is we've all been a part of like different theater or live stage
right.
productions, and
Oh,
so we
mine
kind of
is
talk
good.
about
Real good.
some of those experiences, and some of them are so cringy and tragic. So you need to
Hey.
go listen to that.
We've had quite the experiences with drama and theater.
Yeah, you
that's
want
awesome.
to join the Patreon this week.
Yeah. So $3 a month gets you access to that. And if you're like, I have no idea what Patreon is, just a quick breakdown. It's a website that lets you say, I like this show. I want the show to continue. I want to support it in some way. And you can decide monthly to just support us. And it keeps the show going. It helps us keep producing awesome content. And because of that, we give you something extra. So check that out. Patreon.com/anofficepod. Speaking of our patrons, we want to say thank you once again to the sponsors for this episode. Our $20 patrons. We're talking about Saf and Brian Cavassa. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
I'm bowing.
We're like golf clapping and bowing at the same
Yeah,
time.
Andy's doing really weird things, not clapping.
It's
Yeah.
good. At least there's no.
I'm doing a fancy dance and a bow.
Yes. At least there's no butt clapping this
No
week.
butt
Like last
clapping.
week. That was Adam.
There was some good butt clapping last week. You could audibly,
missed it.
You could hear it. All right. And so speaking of 5-star reviews, tonight we got an awesome one from Office Lover 1953. Now, what's interesting here, I'm not sure, are they saying I love The Office, or they're saying in my office I'm a lover.
I'm a lover.
I like that story better.
But then the number is 1953.
So you're old?
They're not born in 1953.
They're an old sassy lover.
Or were they?
In the office.
It could be. That's old.
Just like when you hear.
Sorry, office
Is
lover.
this Creed?
When you hear this review, just in the background, think bow chicka bow wow.
Yeah.
Should I add in some music? Like some good, nice little. Okay.
I was thinking
What?
the
Is that your sexy
Seinfeld?
music?
You know, like the dun, 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 dun.
Yep, that sounds like Adam's sexy music.
I will add in some sexy bass here. And this is what it says. The title of the review says, funny and engaging.
Oh yeah.
And then the bod.
Oh, yeah.
The bod of the review. This is getting very
I want
uncomfortable.
your bod.
It says, these people are great.
Ow,
I didn't
ow.
think The Office could get any better. And then this podcast happened.
Ooh,
Oh.
baby.
Oh.
How? So Adam like plays folk music in his sexy time and then goes how?
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh my gosh. When he's feeling snippy, he puts on Mumford and Sons, and things go down. So there you go.
Actually,
All right.
I really love them. So
They are great, but have they
Let's
done
not-
have they done anything recently?
Do they have a new album that just dropped?
Did they?
I'm using my high voice.
that's
again.
weird. And your weird eyebrows that freak me out a bit.
Sorry about that. I think they did, but
Okay.
check that out. Anyways, and then you know what was awesome? Okay, so we were sitting in the theater. Andy and I went to go see the live action Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I received
Oh, the movie.
yes.
Oh yeah.
I receive a Facebook message from a friend named Chrissy that we used to work with way back in the day.
Oh.
And I just said, you know what, she's a listener and a friend, and she sent this to me, so I'm going to read it on the air because it was freaking awesome. She said, so we had a conversation a little bit, but then she said, P.S. I'm digging this podcast for The Office, in all caps, a lot. Great job. And then she says, literally my favorite podcast right now. You guys are all hilarious, and I'm glad there are other people like me who have watched The Office that much.
Love you, Chrissy.
Yay.
And then she says, "Tell Andy
And
hi."
she's super cool.
So,
oh,
hi.
hi.
Hi,
Oh,
Andy.
hey. He read this to me last night, and he didn't say the hi part.
I wanted to
feel
save
like I
it
need
for this
to
special moment.
acknowledge that and then say, hi, Chrissy.
And for you, the listener, it's for you to discern which one of those claps was a butt clap.
That's right. So
One was a thigh clap. Weird.
It is really weird.
wow.
So I don't want to. I'm not trying
And
to
we're
toot.
just walking.
I'm not trying to toot our own horn, but rit-it-dit-to-do. So anyways, there you go. It was awesome to just get some of that encouragement. So thank you guys. All right, so you guys ready to jump into?
Let's do this. This was awesome.
Email
I
surveillance?
laughed out loud so many times.
Oh baby. All right.
LOL'd.
So tonight, Michael is a spy. Pam is playing detective. Jim has a secret, and Dwight has soccer practice. It was the best thing he could come up with. So bad. This is Email Surveillance, Season 2, Episode 9 of The Office. All right, so the episode opens, and Michael's in his office, and it's just a beautiful day in Scranton, PA. He's just feeling the vibes. He's loving it. And then he takes a look out his window and he sees that there is a man in a turban getting out of a vehicle and walking into the office. And Michael sort of starts to panic.
He definitely
freaks out.
panics.
He freaks out.
So he runs, he locks the door, shuts off the lights, tells everybody to be quiet. This is the real thing. Kevin is like trying to figure out what's going on. And Michael's just like, no, shut up, shut up.
Yeah.
And then we get a little cut to Michael basically just saying, yeah, me and the IT guy did not hit it off very well from the beginning.
It's so, again, I appreciate the humor how, again, this would not...
2019,
People
No.
would not be okay with this in 2019,
No.
but it is so funny.
And he nervously sits on that one chair, like kind of hiding, but just like looking at his people like, we're in this, be quiet.
Here's the thing I'll say about Michael Scott. Okay, in that moment, he legitimately is thinking, okay, this is like a terrorist attack or something.
Mm-hmm.
You said it, I didn't say that.
Sure, they said it. They say it in the
He
episode.
kind of said it.
I would have expected Michael Scott to be running for the warehouse.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
He locks the door, kills the lights, and then he's the closest one to the door.
Oh, he's standing for his
Papa
people.
Mike.
I don't know. I just thought that
Papa Mike.
was interesting. That was kind of cool. Okay, so then as we come back from the opening credits, so the IT guy is in Michael's office. He's helping him with his computer, and he needs the password, which is...
Does he have these things so password encrypted?
They're so password encrypted.
You guys, as if he's
He
some
says
like
it's your
member of the
password.
universe.
And then he points at the monitor. Is it 1, 2, 3,
1, 2, 3, 4?
Do you have written down right here?
Again, difference in the time, huh? Like, they won't even let you make passwords like that anymore.
No way.
No
So
way.
many rules.
They've built
I
in-
don't even know half my passwords because of all the rules.
Those rules are stupid because they always say don't use... Did you know that they say don't use the same password for all your accounts?
Yeah.
Rob says that
Yeah.
to me about every other
Yes.
day. So yes.
But then I'm like, all these rules, how many options am I supposed to have? 100 different passwords that all meet the same criteria? I can't do it.
No.
I should use like one password or iCloud. iCloud does that too.
Where you can like set up like a...
A randomized.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I would never guess.
See, here's what I do: is the last 5 are always the same, but there's always a new word that I add on, and it drives her crazy
I
because it's
know.
always something that's like super like
Like I can't even guess it. It's not relatable to our life.
it's like
at
way
all.
out on the fringe of something that just like stood out to me in a moment.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll go with that.
It's like he's driving down the road and he saw like green jogger. And he's
Okay,
like,
so, like, so
green
you're-
jogger, and then the
Yeah,
rest
so you're
of the
saying
password.
like 1, 2, 3, 4 would be the last 4 digits, but
Sure.
then it's like blue car 1, 2, 3, 4, and
Yes.
then green carrot 1, 2,
Sort
3,
of.
4. Okay.
Yes.
But here's the thing: it's usually always related to a video game.
Oh,
And
really?
Of course, I'm not. Gonna
One of
get
them
it.
was Assassin's Creed. Was related to Assassin's Creed,
Oh.
and then my newest one, I'm just gonna say it. That's all right. Was related to XCOM 2. So that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and so I try and go into our stuff, and I'm like, "What the?"
I'll tell her what it is, and she's like, "What does that even mean?" And I'm like,
Honestly, it starts a legit fight.
I'm like, you wouldn't get it if I try to
so
explain
he
it to you.
He's like, "It's just a character."
I'm like,
And
so
I'm
Desmond
like, how would
is
I know
in
this?
the Animus,
Wow.
and the Templars are.
So you played the original then. I know that you...
Oh yeah,
That's the original.
I was a big-
Which is very good.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I fell off around Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah, I get that.
That's
I
what
just
my-
recently started getting back into it, and the new games are great.
Yeah.
So just to
So
put it
now
out
all
there.
you other nerds out there who know what
Nerd
they're
alert.
talking about can break
There you
into
go.
our bank account, and you're welcome.
We digress.
And I still cannot.
Video games. All right, so we digress. So, anyways, yeah, he has a horrible password. So then, as Michael is leaving his office, Dwight is waiting outside and almost kind of pounces on him. It scares him. It's so great. And he wants to know, what is the IT guy doing in there? Like, what's going on in there? And Michael's like, you don't need to know. Don't worry about it. And Dwight is like, I need to know in case something happens and you die.
Right.
Sure.
He's like, what if you... And it's like a bunch of stuff. What if you have an aneurysm? What if you step on a landmine?
Yeah.
What if you choke?
Yeah.
And I just love Michael because he's like, I'm in the best shape of my life. He's like flexing.
Yes. Now, the thing that I think is funny about this character is that when Michael says, if I step on a landmine in Scranton, you can have my job.
Yeah.
And Dwight thought for a moment, could I get Michael to step on could I figure out a way to do this?
I have access. I
I
have a landmine
mines.
guy.
Yeah. I have a way of getting these. Like, is this worth it? Should I try and attempt
Oh
this?
my gosh. That totally crossed his mind. You know it did. Oh, freaking Dwight, dude. And then so Michael is in his office and he's saying, there's some things that the boss doesn't share with employees. He doesn't share his salary. He doesn't share his bed. And then he sort of hesitates there for a moment.
Yeah, he has to think about that one for a second.
And he doesn't share that he's spying, that he's surveilling their emails. So,
Yeah,
there you go.
exactly.
And so back in Michael's office, he's with the IT guy, and he's like, hey, this email surveillance thing is up and running. Let's show you how it works. He's like, yeah, search like Michael search boss, Michael boss and funny.
Yes.
He gets one result. Good old Stanley. Basically saying that I can't go to this event because my boss, Michael, is making me stay because he's an ass. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Where was the funny?
That's exactly what I thought. Where was the funny? And I don't know if it's like after, like, he thinks he's being funny by saying we have to do, like, maybe we just don't get, maybe we don't get that in the paragraph.
Yeah.
What was so funny? Okay, so speaking of nerds, I went to IMDb and I checked out some of the stuff, like some of the trivia and behind the scenes stuff about this episode.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about a few of those things later. But one of the things is somebody was like, actually, that email filter wouldn't work because when you look at the body of the email, there's nothing in there.
Thanks.
So,
Thanks, Bob.
yeah. Oh, jeez. So then Michael walks out into the bullpen and everybody kind of is ready for him. And Oscar wants to know, Michael, why are you spying? Like, why are you spying on us? Immediately they know what's going on.
Yeah.
Because they get an alert, right? They're like, hey, this is what's going on.
Apparently.
Yeah, they let him know that IT sent a memo to everybody, so everybody knows about it, but not before Michael tries to divert and do a robot impression.
Oil can.
And yeah, a Tin Man oil can robot impression.
That's from the Wizard of Oz, right?
Are you asking me if the Tin Man and oil can is from Wizard of Oz?
Right.
Adam
yes.
Jones?
Yes. I'm just making sure because you're a movie guy.
You've seen Wizard of Oz,
Yes,
correct?
I have.
Okay.
Yes. I was in a play that was an offshoot of the Wizard of Oz.
Were you in The Wiz?
Ooh.
I was not the Wiz.
The Wiz.
No, were you in The Wiz? Do you know what The Wiz is?
No.
Isn't it a bowel
This was
movement?
written by somebody that I knew.
Oh, okay.
Did you know?
This was like one of
Not
those.
anything
My
you
mom.
would know.
This was like a homebrewed, like, hey, you know what'd be cool? What if we wrote a thing like The Wizard of Oz?
That is exactly, yes. But like an offshoot
This
from
just
it.
keeps getting better. Can we please see the playwright?
No. No.
Was it written by you?
No, it was not written by me. No.
It was by his pen name,
That's right. What is my pen name?
Jadam Dones.
Sure. Jadam Domes.
Oh boy, oh boy.
It's either your pen name or like your blues name. That could work.
Or my PlayStation Network name.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to stage Jadam Dones.
And I play drums. This is what I get to do.
No, you come out and shred a guitar, dude.
Well, I can't shred
Too
or
bad.
play guitar.
Dang it. Never mind. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
Fine. It's just your weird play name.
You're fired by.
So then Kevin, we go to an interview with Kevin, and he basically says, like, hey, there's a lot of stuff I'm going to need to erase now.
A lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff.
That's how I would feel too. I don't know all of it,
What kind of
but I would
emails?
feel that way too.
Like, what kind of emails are you sending?
I'm just saying.
Like, I get Kevin. I understand that Kevin might need
Yeah,
to.
Kevin does.
I don't don't know.
That's the right answer.
I'm just one of those guys who I'm like, I don't know. I
Do you
guess
need
I
me
don't care.
I'm a big jokester, so I would have to think back. Did I say anything in joking that could be taken seriously and I could lose my job?
Do we need to pause the show so you can go check your emails right now?
Yeah, goodbye. I gotta go back.
But again, in today's world, I don't even think that's even possible on enterprise emails, right?
No.
It's not.
What?
Privacy is like a right. So
You actually can. I have accessed people's emails before as the administrator of.
What? Really?
But they know because in order for me to do that, I have to change their password.
Oh.
And so I could change a password and then do that, go into their password, and then I have to call them and say, this is your new password. Change it if you no longer want me to have access. So I have been able to access somebody's email before.
Interesting.
Big sister over here.
But
That's right.
But they would know
Nice.
the next time they try and go onto their email.
Okay.
So you'd have to admit it.
So Kevin has a bunch of stuff to erase, and then we go over and we see Dwight telling Angela. And he's like, "Hey, if you have any
Giggle, shoo, 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 shoo.
if you have any sensitive emails that you should probably delete, you want to do that right now?"
Yeah.
And Pam hears this, and it just sort of sparks a little bit like, "No,
Yeah.
you don't think." And Jim is kind of over there, and she's like, "I just heard this. Like, this interaction. You don't think?" And they're both just like, "Ew, no, there's no way."
Yeah.
So then Pam is like trying to dig a little bit. So she goes over to Dwight and she's like, "Hey, I got this friend and there's two girls that are interested. One's a brunette and then one
This is so lame.
one is kind of like a small blonde who's like kind of perky and super judgmental." And I love that Dwight doesn't even connect the dots. He's just like, does he have access to her medical records?
Of course.
And then he goes on to talk about yeast infections and how far they are downstream from the bread.
From the old bread factory. As a volunteer sheriff's deputy, he has access to medical records.
Yes.
A high level of yeast infections in that county, probably because they're downriver from the old bread
Poor
factory.
Dwight has a lot of things to learn.
Yes, very much.
But Dwight, please don't learn them because you are awesome.
Please don't learn them because knowledge is power, and he needs no more of that.
No more.
So then Michael is in his office. Speaking of power, he's got this brand new toy, basically. And so he's searching through people's emails, and he finds out that Meredith has an Evite, and it's to a barbecue at Jim's tonight. And he's like, I wonder where my Evitation is.
Yep.
He gets access to the guest list, and he sees, I'm not on it.
Yeah.
Michael has not been invited to the party.
Poor Michael.
Jim has a secret party going down. So then Pam is asking Angela about Jim's party. Like, is there somebody you're going to bring? Do you have somebody that you want to bring? And she's just like, no. Like, I don't know why I would do that. And then she's buying 2 Baby Ruths.
Who eats Babe Ruths?
Oh, I do. Those things are delicious.
Oh boy, I don't.
Well, we know that Adam
those.
Jones doesn't because he just said, and I quote, "Who eats Babe Ruths?"
I love that he pluralized that. Baby Ruths.
It's a Baby Ruth.
Baby
Who
Ruth.
eats a Baby Ruth?
You've never had a Baby Ruth?
I don't like them.
Really?
No. You know, you see me eat candy at the office.
Yeah.
Snickers.
I mean, it's not my go-to.
Snickers and a Twix guy.
Sure. Okay.
Oh, Snickers has always been my mom's go-to. I knew growing up that if ever I needed some sort of sweet thing, I can look in her purse and find a Snickers.
Oh wow, that's
Snickers.
funny.
It's not my go-to. Like if there's one sitting there. And
What's
it's
your
like
go-to? Go.
My go-to for a candy? For a candy
For
bar?
candy bar.
I used to be a Reese's man,
Oh yeah.
but I find that the Reese's is like something's changed about them in the packaging. They're always kind of melty.
A little bit.
It's always kind of weird, and so I'm not opposed to the Snickers, but in my ripe old age of 35, I've come to appreciate a Milky Way now and then.
Okay.
Milky Way's not bad.
What's your go-to? Go. Adam.
Snickers.
Snickers.
Snickers or Twix. I can't say one is ahead of the other. Those are both great candy bars.
This one right
Mine
here.
is. I have 2.
Yep.
100 Grand Almond Joy.
That's right.
Wow, you got a really kind of off the beaten path
Oh really?
selection.
100 Grand?
I mean, when you go to
Almond
I'm not sure 100 Grand is as popular as.
Oh really?
Yeah.
What about Almond Joy?
I'm not sure.
I got the 2 Old Man candy bars.
Almond
Those are
Joys
mine.
are quite good.
Oh man,
I guess I do see those more. $100,000 I don't think is super popular though.
Yeah. Well, speaking of unpopular, have you ever had a whatchamacallit?
Yes, I have had that.
Those are good.
Kind of a big fan of those.
But that's been a long time since then.
But I always find that like when you go to buy them at the gas station, they're always the ones that are like kind of dusty because they've
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
like son of a.
Yep.
And Who gets Chewy Jolly Ranchers? Sorry, Adam's face when I said that.
Chewy Jolly Ranchers?
Chewy Jolly Ranchers. I always see those everywhere now, and they look blah.
What is it with kids these days, huh?
Know.
Children.
Chewy candy.
Infants.
These youths.
These street youths.
Street youths.
Yeah.
Anyways, so she bought 2 baby Ruths. That's interesting. So we got a clip here, but as we cut back to Michael, he's had some time to process that he's not on the guest list, and he's explaining to us that he understands why he didn't get an invite. And
Do you though?
he wants to give us some perspective, but he also wants to wear a cat puppet on his hand at the same time. So everything you're hearing him say, just imagine him wearing a cat puppet that's wearing boxing gloves and just hitting everything in the office.
Like Michael Scott. Can you imagine working with him?
Check out this clip.
There's always a distance between a boss and the employees. It is just nature's rule. It's intimidation, mostly. It's
punching
the
the temp.
awareness that they are not me. I do think that
Punching
I'm
Angela's
very
knickknacks.
approachable.
Punching the
as one
M&Ms.
guys. But maybe I need to be even approachabler.
Maybe he needs to be even
the
approachable.
randomness of that quote, of just everything that's happening
Eating a
in there.
cup of noodles. I love that.
Yeah, and so as we come back in, we see that it's lunchtime in the break room, and we got Kevin and Oscar, Jim and Pam sitting around the table. They're all eating their lunch, and Michael's walking in with his cup of noodles, and he's like, "I just want to, be with my people, want to engage." And as they're talking, Michael now knows that the party's happening, but nobody else knows that he knows. And so as he sits down, he's like, "Yeah, a cup of noodles is brain food. Reminds me of college. You know what I miss about college? The parties." And the students and the faculty, the professors, they would all just get together because that's just
Faculty.
how they would
Did
do.
Michael go to college?
I was just going to say the same thing. What college
No.
would accept Michael?
No.
You don't think he went to college?
No. He says he went to the School of Hard Knocks.
That is true.
Okay.
He hung out with rough Street Fighter types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like at some point we find out that he goes to college.
Maybe.
We're going to put a pin in that and find out.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So then Jim, we go to Jim and we have a little interview with Jim where he basically says, like, "Look, I've got beer, I've got karaoke, no Michael Scott, the 3 things you need for a great party." And he said, and he's so excited for his roommate to actually meet Dwight, because when he's described Dwight to his roommate, roommate's like, "This person does not exist."
Which
And-
makes sense.
Yeah. So then Pam earlier, she's saying like, "I think there's something maybe going on between Angela and Dwight," and she tells the camera crew like, "If you see anything, let me know."
Yeah.
So in this next scene, the camera crew sort of is trying to get her attention quietly, and then points the camera over, and we see Dwight is eating a baby Ruth. We're assuming that it was a baby
Dun,
Ruth
dun, dun.
Oh, yeah.
bought by Angela.
Yeah, it was.
And Pam is like, "Oh man,
You wouldn't think they'd be that messy, but apparently they did.
they're just not even trying to hide it."
Well, I mean, they wouldn't assume that anybody would have any reason
Except
to
for
be
that,
watching.
Except for that Pam. Well, yeah,
Was
I guess
right
you're
there
right,
when
yeah.
she bought it.
That's true. That's true, though. Yeah, that's true. People don't watch you as much as you
Yeah.
think you do. As
Yeah.
they do.
I can't tell you how many things I've got away in the office.
I can't tell you how many candy bars
Why
I've
don't you
taken
tell
from
us?
the office.
I mean, what?
Why don't you tell us about a couple of those things you got away with at the
Or
office?
popcorn.
Who?
Did I tell you I take popcorn sometimes? Sometimes I take Coca-Cola cans.
You willingly tell me all this. Like, I don't guess. I don't care. But you're just a
You don't have to
confessor.
press very hard into me.
Yeah,
I
you
I
just
tell
walk
you.
into the office and confess all your wrongs.
Sometimes I'm
yeah,
like,
I do that
I'm
too,
leaving
but
the
I
off-
didn't walk in and say it.
Sometimes I'm leaving the office. I'm like, I'm gonna take a Coke can with me. But,
Why not? Why not? That's fine.
Yeah.
So then we cut over back to Jim and Dwight is saying, "Hey, I looked online. There's a couple of different directions to your place for the party." And Jim is like, "Hey, keep it down." Michael doesn't know about the party because Michael's standing right there. Dwight's like, "Why?" Jim says, "'Cause it's a surprise for Michael." And Dwight is like all about this. So Jim is telling Pam, "Hey, Dwight thinks it's a surprise. And also, I'm trying to get the numbers for tonight for, food and drinks sake."
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Is Roy Are you bringing Roy?
Is he coming?
Yeah. And it turns out he is not. Pam's coming
Roy's like,
solo.
Jim, never.
No.
No.
I will not go to his
not
party.
be there. You will not either, woman. And
Nope.
she's like, I'm not your woman. And then they have a little fight in the car, and she storms off and goes to Jim.
This is a deleted scene.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
I saw it.
Andy's seen this, apparently.
So then Michael is kind of talking with Jim, and he's kind of trying to pull an invite out of Jim. He's like trying to hint that he knows about the party, but not really, and try to get Jim to. So he's like, "Hey, do you have plans? You want to hang out tonight?" And Jim's like, "No, I got plans." Like, "Oh yeah, I got plans too." Wait, you just said you didn't. No, I got plans. I have my improv class.
He's bad at deflecting.
Yeah, and Jim's like, "Oh yeah, improv. That sounds really good. You should do that." But he's like, "Hey, if something else came up, I would totally go."
Yeah.
And just looks at Jim.
It's a very awkward conversation.
Yes, for sure.
Have you guys ever known that something was going on and not been invited, but then tried to get invited? Have you ever been Michael Scott in this situation?
No.
I don't think so, but that's probably because I just get invited to all the parties. I mean,
Of course,
it's
it's
just
not
exhausting.
so
He's a pretty
popular.
cool guy.
I think if it would have happened to me, I'm sure it has, I wouldn't have wanted to be invited. I think I would just be kind of like, if you don't want me to be there, I'm not going to be there. I don't want to be there either.
Huh.
Bye.
Yeah. I can't think of anything off the top
Yeah,
of my
me
head.
neither.
But it's
Okay,
probably
then
because I
question
just
bye.
didn't know it was happening, so that's probably a good thing. So it's 5:00. Everybody's packing up, getting ready to head out, and everybody's just trying to avoid Michael. Like, Oscar's on a phone call.
Yeah.
Like, he's trying to stop Angela. What are you doing? Where are you going? And she's like, charity, bake drive.
Big drive. I love that.
And he just calls her a liar. He's like, you are a liar.
No, I am not. That's what she says.
He grabs Dwight and says, hey, why don't we watch that, nerdy Battleship Galaxy show that you love? Battlestar Galactica. But Dwight can't do it because Dwight has practice. He has soccer practice. And then I love, as he's leaving, he looks right at the camera and he's like, he has no idea. Because to Dwight, he's like, I'm not lying to get away from you. I'm lying because it's a surprise party.
Oh, yeah.
I'm lying for you as a gift to you.
So then we are at Jim's. We are at the party. He's welcoming everybody in. He's talking about, hey, there's beer, there's wine. It's not just for Meredith and Kelly.
It's so
believe it or
cool
not.
that he was
Yes.
excited to throw a party for his coworkers.
Yeah, it was pretty
Cool
cool.
guy Jim.
That's right. We
That's
do
right.
get a cool guy Jim by the end of this episode.
Exactly. I was thinking
For
that same
sure.
thing. Yep.
Which, by the way, I was talking with Andy. We should have a cool guy Jim shirt.
We need to.
I feel that's a thing.
we know
yeah.
enough artists to be
Yeah.
able to help us.
I'm
pull
talking
this
about. I
off.
want a picture of Jim with his white shirt and his black tie, like leaning back at his desk.
Yeah.
But he's got like shades on that are like obvious he wasn't wearing.
Cool
them.
guy Jim.
Cool guy Jim. I feel like that's
I
something.
love that. Be on the lookout. We're going to open an apparel store for
Trademark
us.
everybody in the conference room. Cool guy Jim shirt. Okay, no, I got it. Now it's legal. So, anyways, yeah, exactly. So he is welcoming everybody to the party, and then Dwight, of course, shows up and is like, "Really, Jim? A hide key in a rock? It's so easy to find." And,
So did he just let himself in?
yeah, and immediately his roommate is like, "You must be Dwight."
Oh, yeah. He knows them.
Dig in the Birkenstocks, and he's like,
If
"Yeah, I
you
keep an
had
extra
to
pair
choose
in my
a Dwight
car."
of our office, I know Dwight is very unique in personality, but if you had to choose a Dwight of our office, who would be the closest?
Oh gosh, that's such a hard question.
Who in our office
I
is
say
closest
Nick.
to Dwight?
Yeah.
No, not Dwight. Or not Nick. What am I saying? Closest to Dwight? I don't know
Is
if
it
anybody's
me?
close to that.
Might be me.
I think we all have a little bit of Dwight in us. That's what she said.
Oh,
Ooh,
no.
no,
Oh,
please.
no.
Somebody does by the end of this episode. Anyways, so the roommate is like, that is totally Dwight. And I love that he keeps Birkenstocks in his car. Did you ever wear Birkenstocks, Adam Jones?
No.
Ooh, that
I
makes-
was
But he's
cooler
wearing
than
them right
that.
now.
Well, that makes one of us. So then Jim is very excited to see Pam. She shows up. She's on her own. And he's like, hey, you're just in time for the tour. And so he's taking the group on a tour. And it's interesting here because Ryan says, hey, is Katie coming? Which is the purse girl.
Yep.
We haven't heard about her in a
The
while.
hot girl.
Yeah, the hot girl. And Jim's like, yeah, actually, we haven't talked in a while.
Yeah.
And Pam, you see Pam's face, a little bit surprised, definitely okay with that.
Yes. No, she's definitely like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
This is a good thing.
Ooh-hoo-hoo. So as the tour continues, actually, we have a clip here because we cut over to Mike at his improv class. Now, there's a couple things that are interesting. Number one, He's got those good sweat stains.
Yes, I noticed that too, and I'm like, I'm with you there, man. I have sweat stains.
Oh my gosh. And this is our first look at Michael doing a scene with Mary Beth at his improv class. So let's check this out.
Come on. Okay, so
He's so
you start us
excited.
off, Mary Beth.
La, la, la,
Skipping,
la,
eating a
la,
lollipop.
la.
Boom! Detective Michael Scott! I'm with the FBI. Think about this. What is the most exciting thing that can happen on TV or in movies or in real life? Somebody has a gun. That's why I always start with a gun, because you can't top it. You just can't.
Because that's the goal of improv, by the way.
Yes. Have you seen him? He's a very angry midget.
Boom! Freeze!
Very
Michael
angry
Schoon,
midget.
FBI. You know what you did. Boom! 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 Yeah, you thought you could get away with your little ruse, didn't you? Didn't you? Well, you didn't, because I know where you hid the
The teacher.
diamonds. I've been on to you and your little friends for weeks. Boom! Boom! Boom!
I'm not even in the scene.
None of them are now.
Okay, she shot me. Great.
What?
Stop.
Why?
Okay, you can't just shoot everyone in the scene.
Well, if you hadn't stopped the scene, you would have seen where it was going.
Okay, what about the scene they set up?
Boring.
No, it wasn't. No more guns.
Could've t-
No. Michael,
Give me all your guns.
why don't you give me all the guns you have?
And then he hands them over. So just to be clear, Michael shot a pregnant woman,
Yep.
a minority,
Yeah.
and everybody else in the room who
The
wasn't
guy
even in
who
the scene.
wasn't even in the scene.
Oh my gosh. Michael, and then I love him. At first he kicks the door in as Michael Scarn. Second time he kicks the door in as Michael Schoon.
Yeah, Michael Schoon. You know what Michael's line reminds me of is I used to be really into the show 24.
Oh,
you
sure.
ever watch that with Kiefer
Yeah.
Sutherland? And I totally get what he's saying. 24 gets escalated to the point where then somebody has a gun, and then it's like somebody with a gun and another person with a gun. Like that is the ultimate escalation.
It's the
of
pinnacle.
industry.
You're like,
yeah,
What is
everybody's got a
bigger than
gun.
that?
yeah. That's exactly it. That show is literally like you kind of wait for somebody to have a gun, and it's like, okay, now we're at the top.
There you go.
Yep.
It's only going to be downhill from here.
Yep.
That's awesome. So then we cut back to the party. Pam is in Jim's room alone.
Okay.
Like she broke off from the tour just to hang out in Jim's room. That's a little interesting. But then Jim comes in. They talk about his desk. But oh wait, you know what? Actually, hang on 1 second. Let's hit the brakes. I do want to say real quick. This was something interesting that I found.
On IMDb.
Yes. Okay. So the improv moment where Michael is pulling the gun. Apparently, this is actually based on an improv class that Steve Carell was a part of, where there was a guy who would do this.
Oh no
Who would
way!
always pull the gun.
Oh, that's great.
I thought that was so awesome.
So he saw that he's like, I've got to put this in this.
Yes. Yeah, he was in a legit improv
Oh,
class.
that
and
is funny.
guy just pulled the gun every time.
Wow.
So yeah, Pam's in the room, Jim comes in, all that. So then she finds his yearbook and finds this great high school photo of Jim Halpert, which, trivia, that is a legit
Photo of John Krasinski.
John
No
Krasinski
way.
I wondered that.
high school
Oh,
photo.
that's
I
So,
wondered
awesome.
that. That's
oh
good.
my gosh, he does.
Who wasn't a nerd in high school? Weren't we all?
I will. Okay, here's what I'll say. All of my photos leading up to my senior year, I was a big nerd. But my senior photo, I don't know what happened. They used the dead sexy filter
Oh yes.
because
Wait, that's not the one with you and the guitar, is it?
no,
Okay.
Andy, it is not.
she got a very judgmental face.
Did even her voice?
That-
Did you hear that?
Because that was the
I heard-
nerdiest photo I've ever seen of
The
you.
words that
that's
came out of
so
her mouth
funny.
were, it wasn't the one with you, the guitar, but audibly you just heard judgy.
Judge. Dang. Hey, you want a very quick piece of trivia? John
Yes.
Krasinski. I saw this in an interview somewhere. I was watching it. John Krasinski literally called his mom 2 weeks before he got this part as Jim and said, "If I don't get an acting job in the next couple weeks, I'm just gonna stop trying to act and do this." And then he got the job. And think about where he's come from now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Anyways,
Very
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's
Oh
just-
my gosh.
Were you homeschooled also through high school? Like, do you have yearbooks?
Yes. I do not have yearbooks.
You
no.
do not have yearbooks.
Oh,
wow.
I do have photos from my senior year. Golly, were they bad? I can show you them sometime.
I think,
Okay.
yes, please.
Can we
one, and
post
two,
on
I think they're
Instagram?
all
Can we post
bad.
a senior photo of each of us on Instagram?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, mine I'll have to recruit my sisters to help me get them. But
Let's compile
yeah, for
them.
sure.
Let's compile them this week, and we will post the infamous me with a guitar.
Sisters,
There
if
we
you
go.
listen.
I still want that
Get
photo with you with
ready.
a fedora.
We
Oh man.
You'll never get
I'm
it.
telling you, on the Blunder Years subreddit, you would blow up.
He really would.
Here's the deal with that photo. There's one copy of it, and it's a hard copy physical photo.
Yeah, it
There's
is.
no digital copies.
In a vault.
Yes. So,
I would have to go and woo his mother.
that's right.
In California.
Oh, it wouldn't take much.
You could do
please.
it.
It would.
Anyways.
Oh, I'm sure that's framed beside her bedside.
Yeah. So then we cut back to the improv class, and Michael tags into a scene with, by the way, Senor Chang,
I know. He
From
was in it. I
Yes,
love it.
yes.
Kim Jong. So he tags into a scene with him, and he's a fortune teller. And Michael starts to kind of play it, and like you can see that the guy's like, okay, sweet, like he's gonna do it. And then he gets stuck, and then leans over and whispers in the guy's ear, and then the fortune teller just puts his hands up.
Yeah.
And the teacher's like, what is going on? And he's like, he whispered to me that he can't show me, but that he has a gun.
It's perfect.
So they decide to call it a day, and that's the end of the class. So back at the party, Jim is barbecuing. He's offering Angela something to eat, and we find out that she will eat nothing because she's a vegetarian.
But there's soda, so
Lame.
don't worry about that.
Yeah, go inside and
Just
have
have
a
a
soda.
soda. My wife loves it when you tell her that. I don't have any food for you. Just drink soda.
Just drink a beverage. So then, yeah, Oscar and Stanley are in the kitchen. They're talking paper. Kelly is like, please, somebody stop talking about paper.
I
And
feel like
they
we do
learn-
that sometimes.
Really? We just talk about paper?
No, we just talk about work all the
I
time.
know.
Yeah. And then Dwight and Angela are talking outside. And Pam grabs Phyllis and says, hey, have you heard anything, or do you know anything about any secret romances? Phyllis leans in with a smile and is like, sweetheart, you tell me. Like,
Yeah.
Oh
Mama
my
Phyllis
gosh.
comes out. Give me the juices.
Pam is so uncomfortable.
Give me
in
the
this one.
juicies.
Bad news. And then I just love the little scene where Ryan is reaching for something on the barbecue, and Kevin's like, not so fast, fire guy.
Yeah, it's
a nice
great.
little
Good
callback.
reference back.
So as we cut back to the improv group, everybody's heading out to a place called Bernie's, which is a legit pub in Scranton.
Yep.
And Michael's wanting to join, but I love this because the guy's like, actually, it's a private friend who knows us all in different ways who's throwing a private birthday party.
That was great improv.
Yeah, for real. That guy is
Yeah.
going to be a star someday. So Michael is not going to that. And he's
Sorry.
like, oh, yeah, I got a work party.
Hold on, another little quick 20-second tidbit. Ken Jeong.
Yeah.
Do you know he's an actual doctor?
No.
For real?
I kid you not. He is a doctor.
Oh, that's crazy. Like a
Of
medical
what?
doctor.
So on YouTube, if you search Ken Jeong answers doctor questions, there are videos where he says, I'm an actual doctor. His wife is an actual doctor.
I know that.
And then he
That's
decided,
crazy.
my wife's making, he literally says, my wife's making tons of money being a doctor. I could try out acting.
Wow.
And that's how he got to where he
Wow.
is.
Oh my gosh.
That is
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
so awesome.
So anyways,
Dang. Okay, that's rad. So then we cut back to the party, and Phyllis is on the karaoke machine singing that good White Snake. Oh, baby.
Get it, girl.
Here I go again on my own.
Yeah,
Oh,
that.
dude, so good. And
So I've been to karaoke parties before, and they're normally the party continues. They don't just sit in silence and all watch the singer. At Jim's party, that's what they do. It's so weird.
you know, that's a good question. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't been to
Anything
enough.
Britney.
Okay.
Oh,
Anything
wow,
Britney.
wow.
This is a story about a girl named Lucky. That's Andy's, right?
She's so lucky.
Oh, see, she's got that. Every morning.
Wow.
You don't have one? You don't know?
I don't think I have one, no.
Oh,
no.
guess. Go. Please
Oh, I don't know.
don't say Jesus,
Something
Jesus.
like something like out of rock band, like oh boy, because I played that game a
Like,
lot.
carry on my way.
Yeah, I could do
Oh,
that.
that's
yeah,
super high.
Something
You couldn't do
classic.
that.
Well, I'd have to
Oh,
sing it
that
down
was
low.
There it is.
Yeah.
It'd be like
Party killer.
it'd be like Pearl Jam does.
Yeah.
Any better
Kansas.
does.
I literally cannot think of all the songs that I know by heart because of a rock band,
Yeah.
but it would be one of those songs.
Nice.
What
Okay.
about you, Rob?
I pull a Michael Scott and I do a solo duet of I do the male and female version of I had the time of my life.
What is that one song where they keep telling?
Never felt this way before.
Oh yeah.
What is
okay,
that
okay.
one like duet where they just keep singing "I love you"?
Are you talking about the "You Are the Love of My Life" from Mad TV?
You are the love of...
Okay, that's not a legit song. That was part of a bit. Did you ever watch Mad TV back in the day?
No.
I would do that.
Okay. There was a running bit of this couple that was like a 80s ballad that every lyric was "You are the love of my life" over and over, and it was so good. Oh my god. We'll link it on Facebook or something. So she's losing it.
She's still laughing.
I'm trying to find my place in the notes. Okay, so Phyllis is singing Whitesnake and it's amazing. Maybe that could be your karaoke song, Adam Jones.
Sure, I'll take it.
And then Pam is outside doing an interview with the crew, and she is very defensive about office romances and all that, and basically is like, maybe we should just leave Dwight and Angela and whatever's happening alone, if you get what she means. Maybe they could just be friends, you know, all that good stuff.
Maybe.
So then Kevin is inside. He's singing some good karaoke, and then Dwight just randomly jumps up and yells, "Surprise!" because Michael's
there.
has showed up at the party.
That takes some guts.
Oh, yes.
It takes some guts.
For sure.
Yeah.
He brought wine. He wants Jim, if Jim's going to open it.
Okay, never
pour
mind.
him a
He's
glass.
welcome.
He wants a glass. And then
I'm with you on that.
You brought the alcohol.
If you brought
sure.
booze, yeah, you can come over. That's fine.
I love that he's like, yeah, I brought wine. And then he looks over and sees the IT guy, and he's like, that guy? Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? And then he gives his coat to Ryan.
The temp just throws it out.
Just throws it in his face.
Yeah. So the party just kind of dies right there, and Michael decides to jump on the karaoke machine, and he's singing Islands in the Stream by himself, doing that good solo duet. And it's bad. It's so bad. And the room is just kind of dead, and everybody's staring, and the party has died. And it's in that moment that he puts on his cool guy glasses. Cool guy Jim.
Oh, cool guy Jim comes out.
Just decides, you know what? I'm gonna embrace it.
And you almost think for a second he's coming up to like pull the plug on the machine.
To kind of, okay, you're done.
But
nah.
Cool guy Jim
Diffuses the situation.
Yep.
Makes it awesome.
He's great.
Yeah. And sings a song about the two of them making love. And as they're singing that, we see some very familiar feet wearing slippers and Birkenstocks.
Adam.
It's not me. I've never owned Birkenstocks.
They're making whoopee in the tool shed.
Making whoopee.
Which I think could also be
What
a t-shirt.
are you, 85 years old?
He kind of is. Close.
I think that could be a t-shirt, making whoopee in the tool shed.
I'd wear it.
I like that.
Anyways, so we're led to believe it looks like Dwight and Angela getting a little frisky in Jim's backyard. I don't know. So then as the episode winds down, we got a clip here. Michael wants to share with us this miraculous story about, we just talked about Ken Jeong and how he got into acting. It's this miraculous story. He's a doctor. His wife's a doctor.
Yep.
I'm just going to give acting a try. Michael has a very amazing story about how he got into improv. Let's take a look at this clip.
Talk! Just talk! Shut up!
Oh, gosh.
The way I got into improv was, the story about me getting into improv was that I was walking down the street and a race car pulls up and the guy says, "Hey, you're funny. You're the funniest guy I've ever seen." Or, "My name is not Dale Earnhardt." And that was an improv. The real way was that I found a flyer.
Interesting.
Thanks,
Impressive.
Michael.
Oh my gosh, so impressive. So that's the end of season 2, episode 9, email surveillance. And with each episode, we like to reach out on social media and just throw it out and say, hey, what was your favorite part? And this was like by far probably the most responses that we've gotten for an episode. It was very cool. So on Instagram, we had a couple of folks chime in. Number one was Miss Mary B. Jones.
Oh, my wife, huh?
That's right. Yeah,
She
Mary
follows
Beth.
us.
Oh,
That's pretty neat.
Her favorite
I
part
didn't
was
even recognize that. I'm the worst. She's one of my close friends.
her favorite part was the roommate being like, "Oh yeah, you must be Dwight."
Yeah.
And then we had a user ZRed240 loves when Michael calls Angela a liar as she's walking out the aisle.
You are a liar.
I mean, come on, charity bake drive.
bake drive. Yeah.
And then one of those good $20 patron sponsors of the show, Saf Pillmore, the special attention that they give to Dwight and Angela's shoes throughout the episode that foreshadows
Yeah.
making whoopee in the tool shed.
Absolutely.
Knocking boots in the
And they knock him
Bow
boots.
chicka bow.
In the backyard.
In the backyard. I know. Yikes.
Dunk, 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 dunk.
Have you ever been in a tool shed that you've looked at and went like, yes, this seems like a place I want to make out with somebody?
No.
I have been in a situation where I wanted to make out with somebody so bad that it didn't matter.
Okay, well, there you go.
Baby. Woo.
And then
dang.
Yeah, for real. And then over on Facebook, Patty Mahan chimed in and said, when Michael thought the IT guy was a terrorist.
That part is hilarious.
Dang,
Yes.
Michael.
I feel like I need to add, sorry, Mom. Okay, now let's
There you
move
go.
on.
Your mom doesn't know how podcast works, so she's never going to hear this.
What is
a podcast?
Yeah.
Podcake.
That's awesome. Now, this is usually the part of the episode where we will look at a prank that Jim pulled and give it some shoot bucks, but there was no prank this time. Just good, cool guy Jim throwing a party.
Oh, yeah.
So just taking a look at the leaderboard, tied for third place, we have Jim is left satisfied and smiling, and it's my Dwight in a box with 21 shoot bucks.
I still have a Dwight in the box in the office.
Yeah, you do.
You do.
Those good pranksters.
That's right. And then in second place with 23 out of 30, we have Jim and Pam post Dwight's resume all over the internet. And then in number 1, reigning supreme, season 2, episode 6, The Fight, Jim puts Dwight's desk in the bathroom.
That is so good.
With a
26 out of 30, yes, with a pooping Kevin.
Yes.
There you go. All right. And so now we like to head over to that good community at the Dunder Mifflin subreddit and get some good quality content from Mr. Adam Jones. Make sure you check out the show notes. You can click on the link there and see exactly what we're looking at. It'll be labeled Dundie Winner. So just click that and you'll see what we're looking at now. Adam Jones, take us on an adventure, my friend.
So I picked this one because of several reasons. I'm a big fan of high quality GIFs on Reddit.
Yes.
I also quoted this. I remember this in episode 4 or 5 of our podcast, and I remember saying in the podcast, "Man, I don't remember what show that's from." It's from this show.
Oh, sweet.
I just could not remember it because it's in later seasons, and I don't know those as well. So it's a high quality GIF of Dwight and Angela outside of the warehouse. I'm gonna wait for it to loop around here, but basically, it's a great line from the show. Dwight and Angela are sitting on a bench, and Dwight says, "You're not stupid." He says, "Jazz is stupid." And Angela says, "Jazz is stupid. Just play the right notes." And Dwight looks very sympathetic and empathetic towards her. Yes, just play the right notes.
Like, absolutely. Just play the right note.
And this is a great line and a good GIF that's on here. It doesn't have any silver or gold on it, so I will give it some. But I just love that line again. It's from the future episodes, but a great line. Jazz is stupid.
Just play the right notes.
Stupid jazz.
Is Jazz stupid?
I mean,
I used to be in a jazz band, so I can't say that.
Oh my gosh.
have you ever listened to any jazz that you thought, wow, this is something I want to keep listening to?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Nat King Cole, all that old stuff, super good.
Why in
Nina
school do they have you
Simone.
do weird things? Like I remember my good friend in high school was in jazz band, and I thought,
I was
why?
in jazz band.
Why,
Have
though?
you ever heard a trumpet play jazz, though? That is good.
yes, because my good friend was in jazz band, and I
Yeah.
still thought this is weird.
Did you ever just yell like, this is stupid?
This is
Jazz is stupid. Play the
Jazz
right
is
notes.
stupid. Play the right notes.
And
So-
he lost his one friend.
There you go.
All right. So how would you say this username?
Mr. Samza.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
You're
So
gonna get
Okay.
something.
user Mr. Samza is going to get some silver and an upvote from me right now. And they're going to get a Dundie for the jazziest post.
That right
So
there.
Yes.
there you go.
Yes.
She used to play the trumpet, and you can tell. All right, so that brings us to the end of the show. So as always, thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure that you rate the show. If you leave us a 5-star, we'll read it on the air. Subscribe so you have immediately when the show drops, you'll get access to it. And make sure you tell a friend about the show and check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/anofficepod. $3 a month gets you access to the after party at Poor Richard's, which we're heading to right now. We saw Michael Scott as a part of Improv. Tonight we're talking about different theatrical experiences that we've had on the... We've been thespians of
And I
the
still
stage.
remember my lines.
There you go. There you go. You do. Save it for the show. And so your homework for this week, number 1, throw a secret party. And
Ooh.
don't invite your boss.
Oh, yikes.
But
Okay.
somehow figure out a way for him to find out about it and show up.
unexpectedly.
Or throw a party and then sing karaoke with your
It
boss.
sounds complicated. Give us something easier.
One of those. No. I'm not going to let you off easy this time.
We have the same boss.
We have the same bod.
That's right.
But we definitely do not. Sorry, guys.
That is yes. And then
Transition.
yeah, for real. And then also make sure that you watch season 2, episode 10. And if you can't tell, I am stalling so that I can pull up that it's the Christmas party.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to pull up the name of the episode. So make sure you watch season 2, episode 10, the Christmas party. And oh my god,
He's trying to watch it right now. He's so excited about it.
Michael Scott, shut your face. It says flush with cash from a recent bonus. Michael throws an office Christmas party. Jim begins planning the perfect Secret Santa gift for Pam.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, it's going to be a great episode.
Yeah,
so
that's a
make sure
good
you watch
one.
that.
Invite all
and-
your friends over, pop some popcorn, pour a glass of wine, and watch this together and just swoon.
and then come listen to us next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, as always, thank you guys so much for listening. And until next time, I'm Rob.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Andy.
And this was
Everybody in the Conference Room.
All right, let's head over to Poor Richards.